What's going on, everybody? Zane here, back with another video. For this one, we're going to go over the question number 13 on lead code called Roman to integer. Now, this one's not to be confused with the integer to Roman. That one's a little bit different. I'll go through that one for a later video, but this one is question number 13, Roman to integer. So we have a function here that returns an integer, and we're passing in a string. The string is going to be some Roman character or characters. So, for example, if we were given these three different sets and we were to run this, let me actually return 0 here, just to show you what's going on. I kind of understand better by going through the test cases, but you should definitely give this a read. But essentially, we're passing in some character or some string, so I, for example, and that should return 3. IV should return 4. VI should return 6. So our task, we pass in a string and we return an integer. So let's tackle this by creating a map. We're going to create this map because we already know that the values of these particular characters correlate to these particular values. So there's no need to actually figure out or calculate anything based off of these specific symbols. We already have that data. So we'll create a map of type character and integer. And we'll call this map. It'll just be a new hash map. And I've already copy pasted this just for the ease of this video, but we're just putting the key value pairs of all of these values. So you'll see I and 1, V and 5, X and 10, etc. So now that we've added all of these values to our map, what we could do is we'll first get the value of our last symbol. So we'll say that the value of their last symbol is going to equal, and now we'll take the map and we'll get the value of the last character in our string. So in order to do that, we'll just do get s.char at, and then we'll just do s.length -1. So now this is getting the actual value of our last symbol. Now this last symbol is also going to be used, it's going to be used repeatedly throughout. So the naming convention here might be a little different. So we'll just say that we'll call this result. Now we've got the value of our last symbol. Now we can take that mechanic to our advantage by looping through our string, but instead of looping through the end or the beginning, what we'll do is we'll loop through starting at s.length -2. Because if we're using this one, for example, we already got the last value, which is the third I here. Now what we could do is we'll iterate backwards, but we'll start using whatever value that we're at here, which is the one next to the last one, and compare it to the one that we're at, which is the last one. So here's what I mean by that. So let's finish up this for loop here. I is going to be greater than or equal to 0, I minus minus. And now we'll say that if the character that we're at, or the value of that character, is less than the character next to it, that means it's something like this, I and V, because this character is less than this character, and that would mean that we just need to actually get the value of this is the value of 4. So to get 4, we just take V, which is 5, minus 1. So to translate that into the code, we'll say that if the map.get the value of the character at I, if this is less than the same thing almost, but just the next character, so I plus 1, then we'll just take the result and subtract whatever the value is that we're at currently, I. So we'll just take this here. Whoops. Otherwise, if it is not the case where we're subtracting it, maybe it's either in front of it or maybe it's even just like the same letter 3 times like this one, then we'll just do the same thing except we need to add it because, oops, Yikes. Wow. You guys see that? Well, so once we have this, we can add it instead, because if it was vi, for example, we're not going to subtract 1 from v, we're going to add 1 to v. And now lastly, we're done with what we need to do, so we can just return our result. Now let's submit this, make sure we're good. And that's it. So just to recap real quick, we created a map and we associated all of the Roman symbols to that map, along with their values, so that we have it ready to go. Now we declared some result value, which is really the value of our last character, the last Roman symbol. Then we can loop through backwards, starting at the element next to that last value, and say, hey, is that value less than the one that we're at? Then, okay, subtract it from the result. Otherwise, add it to the result, and then just return the result. Anyways, guys, that's it for this one. I hope that made sense. If you guys have any questions, comments, feedback, please let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, hit that like and subscribe button, show me some love, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.